12 in the morning. We've just finished getting up and putting some clothes on. We're gonna head over to Mount Ijen, check out the blue flame and the sulfur workers that are laboring there. And hopefully it's not too touristy. We're a little brain dead, so hopefully this is gonna be an easy trip. I really don't know why Kristen's putting sunscreen on when it's not gonna be sunny for another 6 to 7 hours. So we get picked up by our driver at 12:05, which is good, and we're told it's probably going to be around 40 to 50 minutes to get to the beginning of the trail and meet our guide. When we do finally get to the trail, there's not that many people there, although we are told it has the possibility to get crazy and that we've probably just beaten the crowd. And that turns out to be true on the descent down. On the descent down into the crater, good footwear is definitely needed. Don't try and do this with flip-flops. There are points in time where you do get sort of crowded and jammed together, and that's sort of where you need to be careful because some of the other people aren't really paying attention to what they're doing. Apart from that, it's pretty straightforward. Walk down, be careful, and get to the bottom. So upon reaching the bottom, it's actually pretty hard to walk around and film. It was tough going. You always have to watch your step, and you always have to be aware of what's around you and trying not to lose who you're with in the process. It's actually really hard to convey how dark it is down here because we do have headlamps and they do illuminate it for you guys, but apart from that, you really couldn't see a lot. So we're actually down in the crater right now. It's so fucking toxic. Oh, I can't even talk yet.
We spent the better part of an hour down on the crater floor. We didn't end up filming too much because of the lack of light, so we just focused on getting some photos of the blue flame and really just enjoyed the experience for ourselves.
So we just got back up to the crater lip now. You couldn't film too much down there, it's way too dark. You definitely have to watch your step. The gases are awful depending on which way the wind is blowing. If the wind's blowing in the right direction, you get nothing. It's, good to breathe. But yeah, I don't know what time it is. The sun's coming up now, but I think we're gonna try and get a couple photos and then maybe just work our way down, go back to bed. We paid a guide because we didn't really want to drive here at 12 in the morning, but it was useless having him. He wasn't even with us half the time. He was telling us that we couldn't go down to the crater floor, which is where we wanted to go. And yeah, he was just a little bit lazy. He wanted to get back up to the lip on time. If you're confident and if you've done your research, I would just say come up here without a guide. Just get a gas mask and a lamp are the real things you need, some good footwear. But there's so many people here now that the sun's coming up. Having said that though, the people that we were on the tour with were really nice. We have a German guy and a guy from the Czech Republic, and we all just stuck together and did the trip ourselves. And so when I was down on the crater floor with Kristen, there's vents everywhere. You have to be incredibly careful about the gas and which direction it's blowing in. But if it's going in a good direction, happy days. Went up to one of the vents and got myself a little souvenir. Probably gonna break off just a smaller bit. There's no way I'm packing that around for the next fucking 6 months. Man, these guys are packing up 80 kilos worth of this sulfur, and for a day's worth of work they make $12 US. It's absolutely ridiculous what they do to make a living here, but that money is actually more than they would make if they were farming or something else in town. So yeah, it's crazy to think.
The volcanic landscapes can be a welcome dramatic change from the lush vegetation that we sometimes get all too familiar with in Indonesia. Ijen was one of our favorite moments so far. If you're in the area, or even if you're not, it's definitely worth the trip here for a unique experience that you won't find elsewhere. Make sure to check out our blog as well to see some of the photos from our time here.
I'd definitely say just layer up. There's gonna be parts where you're really cold, parts where you're really hot. and depending on the weather, which is completely unpredictable, you have no idea. But we just wore a couple t-shirts and a rain jacket and we were good. There are people at the trailhead and along the trail offering to give you a ride up in a trolley. And I think the ride up can be anywhere from 300,000 to 500,000 rupiah, and then to get down maybe 100 to 200. But on the way down, we saw a couple people that had chosen to get the laziest mode of transport. It's ridiculous. It's really not that hard of a hike.